Welcome back. Before I get started on the list and combo boxes, I'm going to move our results up here. Don't want to forget that part. Just clean this up a bit. Now let's bring this back down to some kind of a reasonable assumption so that we can actually make money on this deal. Okay, and for the list box, which I think is the easiest to start with, I'll go to Developer, Insert, List. And as you may remember from class, to format this control, we need not only a cell link, but also an input range. So let me come down here and talk about, loan size should be good. We'll go with those, and I'll put a linked cell. Doesn't matter where the linked cell goes, but I always like to put it right above where I'm providing the input range. So the input range is our text. It's our small, medium, and large. The cell link is the yellow cell above that. I always like to 3D shade when I can. And then we'll come over here and put an index formula in a moment. But first, let's make sure our small chooses a 1, medium chooses a 2, and our large chooses a 3. So now we can say index this range based on that number. And if all we're doing is indexing an array by a row number, then we just need the 1. Notice that column number is in square brackets there. Next time we'll do that. Let me copy, paste format. Next time we will index by a column number. This looks like it's working correctly, so let me come over, tie that to the model, and say that now my loan, rather than being a fixed amount or looking at this amount, it's going to look at that amount. I believe in class we talked about formatting this as an output. Might help us know what to look at. So our loan amount is no longer here. I'm going to check and say formula, trace dependent, see if anything depends on that. Nothing does. So I'm going to copy a blank cell over it. Move this loan amount to right here. Now we could use another list box, but this time I'm going to insert a combo box. Sometimes it's called a drop-down box. And where this was loan amount, or loan size, maybe a better way to say it, this one will be our depreciation schedule. This should just be a review of what we did in class. So I think right now the worksheet is looking at column R. Column R's are selected. I want to change this to have a linked cell right here. And we'll call this so I'm going to move it up one. So I have room to write the word selected. And so I want to select one of these depreciation schedules. I'll go ahead and put a 3-year. No, I won't save time in the video. I want to select one of those depreciation schedules based on what's chosen here. So I need to populate the format control. Of course, its cell link is just going to be the yellow cell. I would love to just say the input range is these two values, but let's see what happens when I try that. I see the first one, but not the second one. And the reason is the input range has to be up and down, not sideways. So the easiest way for me to get that is to copy those, do that paste special that I mentioned, and tell it we'd like to, where is transpose? E is for transpose. And so we're just going to paste those, copy them, paste them transposed right here. Now they are up and down. So now if we assign our input range to those two cells, we'll see them both in the drop-down. When we choose the first one, we get a 1. When we choose the second one, we get a 2 right here. So what we want to say, we could do this with an array formula, but we're just going to do it one at a time. We're going to say index this array which an array is one or many cells. And in this case, it's one row high and it's 2 columns wide. So the row number in an array that's only one row high must be 1. And the column number that I choose is based on this yellow cell. I'm going to put $signs on that so I can copy this formula down. And so you see that when I choose 3-year makers, I get these values in the selected cell. And when I choose 5-year straight line, I get these values in the selected cell. Okay, quick review. In this video, we learned how to do just a simple list box or drop down box or combo box by tying it to a list that was vertical and using the index formula in a pretty straightforward way. Over here, we tied it to a list that wasn't originally vertical, so we had to copy and paste transpose and tie it to that list. And then to choose from right to left, we had to use index and tell it we wanted the first row, and then tell it which column we wanted based on the linked cell. The most important thing to do here is to make sure our depreciation schedule is looking at the selected cells and not always at 3-year makers. So if I copy that, paste it, now it will change the entire model all the way through to the outputs based on my depreciation schedule.